But so this is the packaging, gives you all the instructions. Basically what it does is it takes your 2mm crimps and turns them into a round bead, just like it says. And it has the steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 right on the back of the packaging of exactly how to use it. So it's pretty straightforward. And this is what it looks like. It's a really great tool. It is very small. It is very non-invasive. It is not heavy. It fits right, just so you can see, right in my hand. And I have a pair of regular flush cutters, which most are pretty standard. Many of you probably have a pair of flush cutters. Look at the difference. You know, much, much smaller. So it's a very ergonomically friendly little tool, but it's not too small and not too big. I really love it. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And as you can see, that it has just one little concave divot inside the tool. Just the one right there. Okay? So we have just the one little divot inside the tool. Okay? And I will show you the 4. So I've got the 4 number 2 Magical Crimp tubes that came with my tool and in all the colors. So I've got silver, gold, rose gold, and pewter. Okay, and I've got a silver and a rose gold right in front of me. And then a toggle just so I can demonstrate for you. And so I've got a 0.015-inch piece of wire, and I've got a piece of tiger tail, which is like a 0.20 inch, okay? Or 0.20 inch, okay? So I'm going to show you how to use it. And it's the same crimp process as we're feeding on like we would any other regular crimp. And so we would feed on our crimp, we feed on our finding, whether it's a jump ring, a connector, the clasp, whatever. We assume our beadwork is down here, right? And so what we're going to do is the same process that we do our regular crimping. We go ahead and pull our wire back around, feed it through our tube, making sure our finding is down here, and then we pull our crimp up, making sure our wires, just like normal crimping, are not crossed. Let's make sure those wires are not crossed. And now here's one little difference, is you do need to make sure that we always make sure we have room anyway, but we do need that fingernail space between the crimp tube and your finding. And the reason we need a little extra space than the regular crimping tool is because, as you can see, we're crimping flat down. And I'll turn it this way so you can see the width here of the crimp tool. And so therefore we need a little bit more room. So you do need a little bit more space between your tube, your crimp tube, and your finishing finding. And all you do is you're just gonna go in there and you put your tube inside your plier. There's only one little divot, and we make one squeeze. Okay, what that now does, as you can see, is it turned the crimp tube into a little ravioli. It's got 4 edge corners on all 4 sides. Okay, so it looks like a little ravioli. And so now what you do is you put your tool back over your crimp tube, okay? And now you just begin to open and close your crimp tool as you turn it around and around. And what this is doing is turning this now into a bead. It'll look like a round bead. It's getting rid of all your sharp edges and all the sharp corners on the crimp tube. And you just keep doing that a couple of times until you're just opening and closing as you see me doing, until you don't feel any more resistance or tension on your tool. And I don't right now. And I'm done. And now, as you can see, that turned that into a little round crimp bead. And this happens to be 0.015-inch wire. I didn't even need dummy wire. And for some interesting reason, look at that, I'm really tugging on it. I'm actually tugging. Oh, there it went. Okay. So I'm really tugging. And if I tug, look at that. It's going to pull down. It's already pulling down. You see that? So if I would have put a piece of dummy wire in there, that would not happen. So I wanted to show you that they are right because manufacturer is right. So a 0.015-inch wire, it is not going to work. It will just continue to slide. Eventually your jewelry will fall apart. You do, though, put a piece of little dummy wire in there and you're fine. So you can use any diameter wire. just simply add a piece of dummy wire in there. And just to prove this point, I'm going to do it one more time on the 0.020 inch. So remember, guys, I just did the goddess bracelet, and that was 0.015 inch, but we had 2 pieces of wire, so essentially we went back through with 4 pieces of wire. So there you go. And then to further prove that point, we did the pearl ombre, and that was also 0.015 inch wire. And then remember at the end, we put 5 pieces of wire. 5 pieces of wire fit through this little 2x2 crimp tube. So they're magical crimp tubes. 5 pieces of wire, because we just did it on my pearl ombre the other day, will fit through that tube. And interestingly too, by the way, the more wire you put through it, the better off you are. It just, I don't know, it just is a really nice strong hold to it. So just to further prove my point, we just did the goddess bracelet, the pearl ombre, as I said, and as you certainly saw me do if you watch those videos, we put multiple strands of 0.015 inch back through, and that crimp did not move, and it held it perfectly in place. So now I have a 0.020 inch piece of wire, and so I fed my crimp on. I've got this magical crimp tube here in a silver, and we'll feed our clasp on. And now let's go ahead and just like we normally would, we'll put our tail back through our crimp. We'll go ahead and pull our crimp tube up. We always make sure our wires are not crossed, so same basic procedures as we do with our regular crimping. And again, we just need a little bit of space, a fingernail or so there, between that crimp tube and that clasp, as you can see there, okay? And now we'll go ahead and we just go ahead and put our tool in there, and we'll give it a nice squeeze, and we have a ravioli, okay? Now, I'll go ahead, put my crimp tool back over, as I now continue, put it right in the divot. There's only one divot. As I continue to turn it around and round, I will just start squeezing and turning, opening and closing my plier until I do not feel any more resistance on my tool. Then I know my crimp tube is been formed into a round looking bead, and it's done. And it's like 6, 7, 8 times, but you know, I don't know, I'm not counting, but you know, it's super great too, because again, it avoids you having to use crimp covers, right? So lots and lots of positive benefits, but it is an investment. Certainly is an investment. Okay, very good. I didn't feel any more resistance, and there you guys go. There's a nice round crimp, and now we're on that 0.020 inch, and let's do it. Now I'm really pulling, just like I was. I'm pulling really, really hard on that crimp tube, just like I was on that 0.015. It's not going. It has not moved. It's not going anywhere. So the security is amazing on this Magical Crimper. I mean, I am really, like, I'm tugging on both my crimp and my clasp. I'm telling you, I'm tugging. It's not even moving. So beautiful, nice, strong finish. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed my little quick tutorial on the Magical Crimper. So my review is, it's a positive thumbs up. It's a must-have for a jewelry business owner. If you are selling your jewelry, bar none, especially even if you're a hobbyist and you're making multi-strands, this tool is a game changer. So love, love, love it. Thumbs up for me. I hope you guys take into consideration some of my tips I paid forward and enjoyed that quick 101. I will put this video in my Jewelry 101 playlist. And until next time, friends, be well.